folks. Welcome back to Fan Talk. And what's today?
It's the day after Wednesday.
It's Thursday. Throwback Thursday.
This week, I am going to cover what actually I did do last week, Love Actually, but last week we had a technical difficulty, and so here we are. Love Actually, fantastic Christmas movie. It's become kind of more of a modern staple.
Yeah.
Directed and written by Richard Curtis, who actually took the movie, or had a couple different ideas. He had the storylines that involved Hugh Grant and Colin Firth as separate concepts, and he decided to combine them into a movie.
Yeah.
And then kind of added in, kept adding in all the other layers. Eventually, it had 14 basically scenarios throughout the story, 4 of which were cut, and of those 4, 2 were filmed. So there's 2 sets of scenarios that they could do an extended director's cut if they wanted to.
They just were filmed. They just never actually made it to the movie because
Right.
there was just so much already.
This movie was made for $45 million, and based on the number of actors involved, there must have been some serious pay cuts on some of these in order to keep it at $45 million.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Made $248 million the box office worldwide. Rotten Tomatoes is 63, which I think that number is soft. 3.5 stars by Ebert. So, I mean, it's good reviews then. It's been popular and heavily in the Christmas rotations ever since.
Yeah.
Just as much as Christmas is Die Hard. People, we have Hugh Grant, we have Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Laura Linney, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Keira Knightley, Bill Nighy, Rowan Atkinson, Martin Freeman, who was more unknown then than he is now.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, Claudia Schiffer, Alicia Cuthbert, Shannon Elizabeth, Denise Richards, and for British folks, Ant and Dec as cameos of themselves. And there's also other minor cameos throughout the whole movie as well, but that's the main cast list.
Yeah.
Kind of the trivia I enjoyed from this movie is Billy Bob Thornton has an unusual fear of antiques, apparently. Hugh Grant, being filmed in England, a lot of antiques all over the place, would just kind of put one up on his face whenever right before they started filming, just to freak him out. Keira Knightley, I remember her character in the movie, one that the guy holds up the signs for.
Yeah.
And also remember the little kid in the movie.
The little boy.
Yeah, 5 years difference between them.
Yeah.
Which is amazing what happens in that 5 years.
Yeah,
I think he was like 14 and she was 19 at the time.
Yeah, and he actually looked like he was about 12, but even then, that's like very small age gap, really, when you think about it. It's kind of funny.
Chris Marshall, who played Colin, the god of love.
Yeah.
Or god of sex, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He actually returned his paycheck for the day that they filmed the scene where the 3 American girls undressed him, because he's like, I shouldn't have to be paid for that.
It's like it was too much fun, is like his statement, if I remember.
And speaking of that little girl that the kid fell in love with, Joanna, towards the end, she sang that song on the stage. Mm-hmm. And they actually had to go back in and edit her voice to make her less mature and more kid-like. And she already blew the ceiling off that place with that song.
Yeah.
And so they had to digitally alter her voice to sound more like a kid, because apparently she's a fantastic singer. So I thought that was amazing. Couple of real-life tie-ins. In 2005, Tony Blair, when confronted with criticism about the Iraq War, did make the comment, like, this isn't Love Actually, there are real consequences to things.
Yeah.
That's why he wouldn't stand up to American stuff. But in 2013, David Cameron, Prime Minister at the time, in response to some Russian criticisms about England being a non-important country, started going off about different things about England that are great, and invented all the sports that are played, invented half the things that are worth inventing, and he's like, if I keep going on, you're going to have to set this to music. And it's kind of referred to as Love Actually.
His
moment.
Love Actually statement, yeah.
And did you know that there was actually a sequel of sorts?
I did not.
2017, the charity Red Nose.
Yeah, the Red Nose, Clown Nose, yeah.
And for that, they got together most of the cast and did a 15-minute sequel of sorts. And it's not on YouTube. You can find it on the internet, but you have to do a little bit more sleuthing than just, Google Red Nose Day Love Actually. Yeah. You can find it. It's on some websites embedded still. It is, and I went back and rewatched it recently in kind of preparation for this. It is a little meta on a couple of it, like it knows that it's a Red Nose Day thing, and it's not. But also on other scenes, it does feel very much like a direct sequel, like where they're in full character and everything else. So take it for a bit of fun, and also the writers. You can take it as a writer's follow-up is what happened to some of these stories, which is nice. And there's some actually good closing up stories, like with Liam Neeson, his son, and Joanna, Colin Firth's characters, nice little closing up. The Keira Knightley and the poster board guy, that one's a lot more meta, as is the Rowan Atkinson part, and some of the other. I mean, and also the Hugh Grant one is bit more meta in the fact that it knows what it's doing, like versus like taking you really back to that world. But as I said, it came from the writers, came from the same people making it, so you can consider it like a finishing touch on some of the stories, which was nice. But Christmas season, I think this movie just kind of grows in popularity as new people and new generations find it. So it will be the staples of the greats like Christmas Vacation and Scrooged and all the other good ones. What you got?
All right, so I decided to go with Out Cold. It's
movie.
a fantastic little comedy. It's one of my favorite little comedies that my buddy Ben brought to my attention in my younger years.
And he watched it every single day for like 6 months at our house.
At our house, yeah, but it's awesome. It's for being the Christmas season coming up. It is like a snow movie. It's
up in the mountains.
Up in the mountains, about a bunch of people in a small little ski town, and they work for a ski resort. And basically, the man has come in to buy them out, and they're upset about that. And it's kind of the shenanigans that happens in this little story that's going on, and also it's a love. There's a love story involved, as many of these little like fun comedies have. But it actually has a really fun cast. It's got is it John Lennon? Jason. It's like the brothers.
They're twin brothers.
Twin brothers.
One was in Dazed and Confused. The other one was in this.
Yeah. And so it's Jason London, Victoria Silvstedt, Playmate of the Year. You got Zach Galifianakis back when he was not famous. This was, I think, if it wasn't his first movie, it was one
This is definitely pre-Hangover.
And it was definitely before he created that like style, his style, where it's like he's really the same in all his films, and where he kind of is this character. It was kind of before that, and I mean, I actually really enjoy him in this movie because I like Zach Galifianakis, anyways. But in this, he was really, really good. David Koechner. Lee Majors obviously was in this one. And it's just a fun little film. It actually was made for $28 million. It was not a box office hit. It only raked in $14.5 million. So it was,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think DVD and video money would make up.
No, it didn't. It did not do well. But
it was enjoyable. And
you got to think that a lot of these smaller films like this, they come out in theaters. They aren't real huge hits, But it's like it falls to the category of like Revenge of the Nerds and Porky's and Animal House, those kinds of films. To me, it's like it's one of those kind of films. It
didn't hit all the right notes to be as iconic as any of those. Though.
No, and although to me it's a very iconic film, I love it. It's like absolutely hilarious. It's one of my go-tos. I would watch that over Animal House any day. Personally, it's just one of those films that I have always really enjoyed, which is why I want to do it for Throwback Thursday. I feel like it's one of those films a lot of people missed, and like you start looking at the actors and the people in it, it's like, oh man, how did I not see that film? Because it had so many great people in it and just a lot of really good humor.
Yeah, and one of the things I actually am happy about the film is this is in 2001. This is obviously post American Pie.
Yeah.
And a lot of comedies are going for that same type of humor.
Yeah.
This does touch on, especially the hot tub scene, but it doesn't just go all in on the, crude American Pie style humor.
Yeah.
It kind of tries to keep its own kind of thing going, which was nice. And considering this could have easily tried to just lean right into that wheelhouse.
Yeah, it goes back to a lot of the drunken, like I would say, party fanboy, like kind of humor, like the whole King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
King of the Mountain. I love that scene where they all are trying to snowboard down the hill with a beer, and if you get whoever has the most at the bottom wins.
This kind of reminds me of more like line with like PCU, like since it's more fun.
PCU is another great one. I would do that for Throwback Thursday. Watch that too. But anyways, that was my Throwback Thursday, a little short and sweet, a little fun comedy that I really enjoyed. And if you haven't seen it, that's really the reason we do this. Is just talk a little bit about some older movies. Go and watch it.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.